So more than another 100 verses.
Correct.
More than another 100 verses of the Quran. So we're already in the hundreds plural, of verses that they're not saying, hey, these were abrogated or something like that. These were lost. Muslims hardened their hearts. People died in battle. These verses are gone now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sunan Ibn Majah, 1944. So we looked at missing chapters, large passage came up missing, and now we'll look at some individual verses coming up missing. This is Sunan Ibn Majah, number 1944. It was narrated that Aisha said, the verse of stoning and of breastfeeding an adult 10 times was revealed, and the paper was with me under my pillow. When the Messenger of Allah died, we were preoccupied with his death, and a tame sheep came in and ate it.
Literally, the sheep ate it.
The sheep ate the paper that she had these verses on.
That's when you say holy sheep.
Yeah. Now, in the Muslim sources, right, you go to the Hadith, you find all over the place where they're talking about the verse of stoning. They knew this. They knew that there's a verse of stoning in the Quran.
Omar is the one who insisted it was there.
Yeah. And he said after it came up missing and was no longer in there, he's the one who said, I would write it in the Quran, but I'm worried about someone seeing me write something in the Quran and saying Umar's adding to the Quran.
That's right.
And the verse of breastfeeding an adult, you read, there's an entire section in Sahih Muslim about this verse of breastfeeding an adult 10 times. And just to give you guys a quick idea of what this is about, there was a problem in the early Muslim community where a woman who's married might have to work around a man. Maybe she has a male slave, or there's a male who works around her or something like this. And they're worried about committing adultery or something like this while the husband's gone. And so this problem is brought to Muhammad. Hey, Muhammad, what happens when a woman's got to be around a man? How are we going to avoid them having an adulterous affair or something like this? Muhammad gets the revelation from Allah, and the revelation of Allah is, no problem, just have the woman breastfeed the man 10 times, and after she breastfeeds him 10 times, he'll be considered her son, and so they won't be tempted to have sex anymore.
Problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved, right? That eventually got abrogated to 5 times. That's in the Muslim source. That's in Sahih Muslim, right? It got abrogated to 5 times. Oh, you only need, women, ladies, you only need to stick your breasts in this guy's mouth 5 times now in order to prevent any sort of sexual attraction from developing. And so it was revealed as 10, then revealed as 5. Neither one of those verses are in the Quran today. What happened? Aisha's sheep ate them, right?
That's a good excuse, by the way.
And notice what she says. She had this when Muhammad died. So it's still the Quran. They still have a physical copy of the Quran when Muhammad dies, and her sheep ate this. Now, by the way, Muhammad's wives were horrified. One, Aisha had been accused of adultery, right?
Correct.
And Muhammad's wives were horrified at the idea of having to breastfeed a guy whenever you're around him and stuff. And we don't want to put our breasts in this guy's mouth.
It's a weird way to overcome sinful desires.
And it's ridiculous to anyone with a brain, right? I mean, you have to have some really strange ideas to think that this is actually a way to avoid sexual tension. But think about this. Muhammad's wives are horrified by this verse being in the Quran, and Aisha was accused of adultery. So the verse of stoning would apply to her if it would, that penalty had ever. She was at one time terrified of being stoned. And these verses, she has the copy, and her sheep comes in and ate them. Is that a coincidence? I mean, are you serious?
It's unbelievable, definitely. And like you mentioned, Dr. Wood, that these things are there in the Islamic resources. Mm-hmm. These are written there. Anyone can go to them. Yep. It's not like it's hidden from them. And yet our Muslim friends insist on trying to defend even the very resources that we've just shared with them.
Yep, and right out of their sources. Matter of fact, I'll make it even easier with this next example, because I'm going to give an example straight from the most popular Quran available in English. You can walk into any bookstore that has copies of the Quran, and you'll find the Yusuf Ali